When are we going to start taking steroids? I mean, you guys. Ooh.
Phenomenal question by whoever submitted that. I'm down. We're just waiting on, I think, Mo.
I do think at some point in my life, I'll start taking testosterone.
I grew up in the hood. I've been living in the hood my whole life.
So, you know what? My passion is spacing. I don't know what that means, but figure it out.
To be like one of those people who climbs telephone poles and changes the light bulbs.
I think they're all friends with each other. I think they would consider me a friend of theirs as well, and I hope they would. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to accomplish goals together, and they all know that. So if one of them lets me down, they're letting the rest of the team down as well, and I'm not afraid to say that to them. This is something that I've spent years and years and years and years building, and I'm not gonna let, you know, the emotional attachment to someone like a friend get in the way of that.
People around me still the same. We just wanna party, yeah.
Today is Tuesday, June 30th, and yesterday, Gut texted the work group chat. We're filming a Q&A part 2. Try and find a cool spot to do this in. I'm just doing this from home. Welcome to Mo's MTV mansion.
I'm on my dock. I thought I had a chair down here. Turns out we don't. It's 100 degrees out in South Carolina right now, but fuck it, we ball. So that's pretty much what I'm taking from this. Let's look at question number 1.
To be honest, looking at these questions, disappointed in y'all. Not a lot of originality. Most common questions: who's going to be in Yelm? What are you planning to do for the next trivia tournament? Times 5. Like, people are just asking the same question. And I'm just going to let the others answer that. Let me see if I can find something good. When are we going to start taking steroids? I mean, you guys. Ooh, part of me thinks Unc asked this question.
Phenomenal question by whoever submitted that. I'm down. We're just waiting on, I think Mo was waiting for his new credit card to come in. He left it at a bar when we were out last weekend. Forgot to pick it up from the bartender. Once the new credit card comes in, he said he was going to purchase it from steroids.net.
This question was asked in lowercase, and Unc has his capitals turned off. I do think at some point in my life, I'll start taking testosterone. My dad takes it. I just think it's like kind of at a cool, not cool, that's not the great word, but a very accepted and casual thing once you're older. 30s feels a little young, but it's doable in your 30s. In your 40s, 50s, I definitely could see me taking testosterone. Especially with the way peptides are going nowadays, it's going to be eventually you could just take testosterone like a fucking chewable pill and not have to inject it in your ass. Unc, though, that could be any year. What do you think you would be doing if BDGE NFL social media content didn't exist? Is there any other profession you're interested in, could see yourself doing well outside of the world you're in now? From Burner.
Honestly, for some reason, kind of backup has always been to be like one of those people who climbs telephone poles and changes the light bulbs. I think that would be so fun. I love the thrill of it. So I might do that. Or not telephone poles. Maybe they are telephone. I don't even know. Those big ass poles with the lights on the top.
I would say number 1 passion for me, creating content that's not necessarily football related, aka the MLB channel that I run, making videos, filming videos, editing, all this stuff in the background. I know it's not like technically what you are asking, but that's probably number 1 on my list. And if we go outside of that, which is probably the question you're mainly asking, it would probably be coaching. I do love coaching. I coached all of last season. For most of you that know, I coached 13U. We had a lot of fun. We went undefeated. We won a championship for that squad. It was an awesome experience. I'm doing something in Delaware very soon, which I'm hoping to capture for the vlog. I think overall, coaching is something I've taken up, which I've had a ton of fun with. That is probably my number 1 passion. It's definitely something I would see myself doing outside of BDG if content creation was not an option.
BDGE didn't exist, I think I would still be making content on my own. If NFL content didn't exist, I would probably be in the movie superhero content space. You guys saw recently we had a collab with Hat Guy. If I didn't get so into NFL, I think I would have eventually started making movie content and superhero content. Now, if social media didn't exist and none of that was available, probably something down the marketing route. In college, I had an internship for an MBA agent, which I found kind of tedious but cool. Or the fallback answer would probably be a property appraiser. That's what my dad does for work. I might have just learned how to do it from him and then branched off on my own and been a property appraiser. Anyone doesn't know what that is, it's not a realtor, but basically when a house goes on the market, he goes and inspects the house and tells the bank how much that house is approximately worth. And I always liked his job because he kind of controls how much he makes and how much he wants to work. If he wants to inspect 2 houses a day and he can live off of that, he's good. If he wants to make a lot more money and inspect 9 houses a day, that opportunity's there. And I've always had interest in controlling the amount I can make, having like an investment into my earning capacity rather than a fixed rate. And that's how I even like it at BDG when I've like negotiated with Nick before. It's like, oh, I want to have like some type of control. Even if I don't have a direct influence, I want to have an influence on what I'm capable of bringing in. So that type of job has always interested me.
This is such a hard question for me to answer, and I hate when I'm hanging out with someone new or like on a date and they're like, what do you like doing outside of work? And I'm like, For me personally, and I think a lot of the guys are probably going to, move more into this mindset as they get older and have more experience of working in this space in their backpack here. It's like, this is what I was doing before it was my full-time job. So this was my passion. And obviously as I've evolved as a person, my passions have become a little bit more holistic. I've always been interested in like nutrition and fitness for sure. I've always been interested in I love marketing, branding, and business. Obviously this type of content is something that always felt really, really natural to me. So taking out social media content is tough because I've always felt like the way that I express myself best has actually been through video. So I would likely be making, if like the NFL and BG didn't exist, I'd probably be making video content on another topic, whether it is building up, branding, marketing, becoming a content creator, or whatever my passion is at the time, like making content about how you can help build your business or product through AI tools as a non-tech person. Like stuff that I'm just like very in the weeds with is really interesting to me. Design is also becoming really, really interesting to me, both from like a graphic design standpoint, product design, even like design within space, like physical space, like interior design is something I weirdly like really, really like now. I like decorating the inside of my apartment. I like decorating the inside of like the studio. Things like that have really like gripped my eye, the way that people see space. And it's something, the guys in the office make fun of me a lot because I'm always like, when they're designing things, when they're making like tools or games, the first thing I think about, the first thing I yell at them about is like spacing. I'm like, the spacing is fucking terrible. Needs more breathing room. Like we have to be better when it comes to spacing. So you know what? My passion is spacing. I don't know what that means, but figure it out.
Who is the better rapper, Darren Waller or Greg Olson? Darren Waller. That's a good question, finally. Working in New York City, J-Mo Gut Sexy, what was it like to move to New York City? Culture shock, ? Was that ever in your plans?
I mean, if it wasn't for BDGE, I wouldn't have moved to New York City. That was kind of just the only reason to move out here. And I mean, it's definitely a much different culture than anywhere else in North America. It's a lot less car centric and you're walking everywhere, everything's within a mile of each other. And it's very different. And like I've always said, there's pros and cons to it. And I don't mind it. Everything that I want or need is in New York City right now. So I'm chill here.
Working in New York City, it can be kind of tough. I know a lot of people, we don't speak about it, and the culture is very different. But as you can see, I have a nice lake behind me. Right now, the water's very low. It's actually insanely low. One of the lowest levels we've had in the past 10 years because it has not gotten much rain down here. We have like almost no rain. You can see we're out in nature. There's grass, there's sun, there's water, there's light, there's beams. In New York City, it's just sun and concrete, and that's really about it. And it's just something that I've struggled with. I know Mo struggled with a little bit. You get used to it over time. It's not somewhere I ever thought of myself of living. I've lived near Philadelphia my entire life, so I know the city life very well. I know what it's like. But did I see myself doing it in New York City? No, I never actually did.
Funny enough, I've gone on a rant before about believing in manifestation. I think if you say something over and over and over again, you can create a reality where it happens. And I don't want to get like so heebie-jeebie and be like, oh, if you say the words, I have $1 million, it's just going to appear in your bank account. I'm a firm believer everything in life comes from like action. Obviously, you have to put yourself in good positions to have good results. But ever since I was little, I like when people would ask me where I'd want to move, I'd say New York City. Never been before. And then randomly in college, BDG's like, we're hiring. Moved to New York City. I was like, holy fuck. This is everything I've said I've wanted. Granted, I don't know what the fuck little Mo was thinking about because like he loves Florida. He likes warm weather. He likes the beach. He likes nature. And New York is the opposite of that. New York is a city to thrive in if you're extroverted. And I've gotten way better about it over the past few years, to be honest. Thanks to Nick, thanks to working at BDG, thanks to being in New York, I'm way more extroverted than I have been, but at my core, I'm still an introverted person. And like, you could be an introvert and into the party life and drinking and going to bars. That's not me either. So it's like a double negative that makes me believe like New York isn't my forever home. Short answer to my long story is a huge culture shock, but kind of cool that I did want this since I was little, and now here we are.
I thought I was going to travel a lot. I had an MLB opportunity when I first came out of college. I was like, maybe that's going to be the route. Maybe I just live in South Carolina. I find a job down there. Maybe I try to go to Atlanta. Maybe I do something like that because I love the South so much. I love being down here. I didn't really picture myself being in New York City. I like being there, especially now that I'm young. There's a lot of opportunities. It's really cool. You make so many great connections. Obviously, PDG itself there. I'm very happy for the opportunity to be a part of it. But did I see myself being there when I was younger? No. Do I despise it by any means? No. I just think there's other options of the world that I would definitely want to live in at some point in time, and I'm very excited to take those opportunities at some point in time in my life, whether it's living down here, whether it's living somewhere else on the other side of the country, California, wherever, Florida, wherever. I don't know if New York was something that I envisioned for my life, but I'm not happy that it's coming at this stage of my life. I think if there's any time to live in the city, it's while you're young. It's not while you're old, so I think being young in the city, being able to walk everywhere, do everything, not have any of those problems, has been a blessing, and it's been really fun.
And I will say the city has grown on me a lot this last year. And I would say a lot of that is due thanks to my girlfriend, mainly because she lives in Florida. But when she visits, she is extroverted. She likes to go out. So when she's here, like, we go do things. We'll try new things versus when I'm here, I'm like, I'm just going to go to the gym. And like, that's a good going out day for me. That was a fun day going to the gym and office. Now I'm just going to go home, make videos, watch superhero movies and cook, which I like, but I'll never like it's just who I am at my core. I'm never going to like walk into a bar alone. I don't have that extroverted bone in my body.
Business versus friends. Nick, does it ever get hard to separate how you view your personal relationships with the BDG crew versus how you view them as BDGE workers? This is something I get asked so often because of the lifespan of the business and the number of people I've had working in the business that have been friends of mine, etc. And there are a lot of people that say they use the cliche phrase like business and friends don't mix. I've really only ever heard that from people that have never run a business or never even worked with their friends. So they just like say that to say that for some reason. And I actually couldn't disagree with that more. I don't think it has anything to do with business and friends mixing. I think at the end of the day, the right people to work with are just the right people to work with. Like, good workers are the people that you want to work with. You can work with your friends if they're good, if they're the right fit for what you're trying to do. Like, just because you guys are friendly in real life does not mean you're going to work together. But that's the same with someone that you're not friends with. Like, people that work well together are people that work well together. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter whether or not you're friendly with them. It matters whether or not they're a fit for the job. If I asked my best friend to come in and start editing videos right now, yes, I would fucking hate that. And I would eventually start to resent him because he's not a fit for the job that I'm asking him to do. It's not a matter of if I'm friends with you or if I'm not friends with you. I actually, as you can see, I get kind of triggered by that question because I think people have this view on how it should be, even though they have no experience going down that lane, which I obviously do. And again, I just like couldn't disagree with like friends and business mixing. I just think the right person for a job has to be the right person for the job, whether or not you're fucking friends or enemies with them. But to go back to the question I think at hand is more so you see in our content that we're obviously very close with each other. Gut, J-Mo, Sexy, Joe, and realistically, like despite the age gap, these are the guys that I spend the most time in my life with at this point, right? Like we're spending time in the office together. hours and hours and hours per week, more so like during the football season. So we're always around each other, and they are some of the closest people in my life at this point, obviously, because of how much we're together physically. But one thing you'll also understand as you grow a little bit older and you become more mature and you start respecting your time more, respecting the things that you put a lot of energy into, is like the idea of setting boundaries. And they all know this. They know that I'll put my business over them first, but it comes with a communication factor. You know, there is no like, oh, I'm going to keep you on because I'm friendly with you or we're friends. Like, I consider all of them my friends, no doubt about it. Like, they're all friends. I think they're all friends with each other. I think they would consider me a friend of theirs as well, and I hope they would. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to accomplish goals together, and they all know that. So if one of them lets me down, they're letting the rest of the team down as well, and I'm not afraid to say that to them. This is something that I've spent years and years and years and years building, and I'm not gonna let, you know, the emotional attachment to someone like a friend get in the way of that. But I think if you would ask any of them before something drastic would happen, I would always communicate the thing that I don't like that they're doing beforehand. Like, I hope it's not something where I'm flipping on a dime. I think that's like, you can, when you're younger, you might have more erratic behavior because you don't know how to communicate in a healthy fashion. You don't know how to have confrontation. You don't know how to talk about things that you don't like to someone's face straight up in a healthy, like, productive way. And as I've gotten older, that becomes a lot easier for me to do. So when it comes to separation, it's like, again, they all know what comes first in the game that we're playing right now. And if they're doing something that I don't like, I have a conversation with them. I tell them, and I'm like, if you're going to continue doing this, you don't have a spot here at BDGE. And I don't really think I've ever had to do that with any of the guys that work in the office. Maybe like Gutters once or twice. To be honest with you, he's probably a little bit more unhinged than the rest of them. But realistically, at the end of the day, like that's it. It's healthy communication, telling them what you don't like, telling them how you'd like them to improve, or tell them what to stop doing, and draw the lines very clearly. Like, you just, you know, it's not personal, but this is a business. It's almost like, I was actually thinking about this the other day. Athletes, a lot of the times, people will be like, this dude was, you know, fucking nasty on the court, the biggest dickhead, extremely competitive, extremely like crazy on the court, but the nicest guy ever off the court. I kind of think you can be like that in a business sense as well. Of course, it's a little bit more personal that way, but I think you have to have a little bit of like a cold-hearted spirit to you if you want to be successful in business, because you have to make sure that you don't waver from where your dreams and your goals are going. And if someone doesn't align with that, you have to be comfortable enough to say that. But I also think it's not a business thing. Like this, again, this carries over into every part of life, going back to like the setting the boundaries point. If you're in a relationship with someone and you don't like something they're doing, like, you have to be able to healthily communicate that with them, or you're going to end up resenting them for it. This is a friendship. This is like parents. This is siblings. This is significant others. So the relationships I have with the guys in the office, I try to communicate with them the same way I would communicate with anybody else in my life. So my life has taken a turn to a point where, like, my friendships, my family, my business are all kind of like one overlapping cycle that play off of each other. And I need to grow in one area. It helps me grow in all the other areas. And again, like, it's something that kind of happens naturally as you mature and you go through these like traumatic events in order to kind of like get you to the next level.
The question everybody wants to know is, who's going to be in Yelm this year? We don't even know yet. We haven't decided. There's lots of names being floated out there. So it's just going to come down to who we think would be the best fit for the league, and also produce content throughout the season, because that being a content league, we need people who are actually going to participate the whole way through. So that's the most I can give you for now.
So for the Yelm members, I don't know if anyone touched on this yet. We don't have solidified members of who are coming in and taking the spots, but the two members that will not be back in the league are JL and Adam. So we have 2 spots open right now that we're kind of toying through the idea of who we want to bring in. Is it internal people that we want to become more on the scenes, in the scenes, on the camera type personalities rather than behind the scenes that you guys have never really met before? Do we bring in outsiders, other creators, whatever? It's more of a decision we have to make of, like, holistically with the league, what do we want the league to become? So I won't, start naming names of people that might be in the league, because I'd rather just give that to you when we do have that narrowed down for sure.
This is a good question. I actually thought of the other day that I'm asking for Unk. I don't know the answer either. Can we get a 501 unlimited version, just like BDG has the unlimited posture, like unlimited luck of the draw? That shit would get played all day. I guess we do kind of have that now that I think of it. If you just play against people. so it doesn't seem as high of a priority as I originally thought, but still feels like we should have something to binge on. So maybe, again, I don't have the answer to this question, but maybe I'll bring it up to Unk to hopefully help you guys.
On the couch mode, any chance of more on the couch modes besides the fantasy drafts? I'm actually quite literally right now inside Claude Code working on the 501 on the couch mode for you guys. So I think by the time you guys see this, happy 4th, I believe. I would say by the end of this upcoming week, you guys should have 501 on the couch. The one thing that was a little bit difficult for me to turn that into on the couch mode was it's a different game dynamic, because the way that 501 works right now, like everybody puts in a blind answer. So everybody can put in the same answer. But if you're on the couch, it goes like snake draft wise. And the starting number for online mode was like an algorithm based off of the top, 5 or 10 answers for that given category, and then it's like a 3 to 5x multiplier based on the average of those or whatever. But on the couch mode, if you're passing between your friends and the categories like New England Patriots all-time passing yards leader, whoever goes first is going to get Tom Brady and everybody else is fucked. So we had to think through a little bit more of like the logic. This is almost like a new game that we have to build out in order for it to be a good user experience for you guys. So, anytime that we don't have like the on the couch mode or this mode for that, understand we're thinking through it, but it's probably a little bit more difficult logistically than just throwing it out there and letting you guys play. So we try to be very thoughtful about the products that we are creating, so that when we do finally drop it for you guys, it's a good experience. So we're not being lazy behind the scenes. I hope you guys know that by this point.
What is your guys' plan for trivia tournaments going forward? Again, another question where there's not a concrete answer right now, but considering how well the trivia tournament does every year, I really want to push to have at least 2 next year.
For the trivia tournament going forward, if it was up to me, I would make the trivia tournament extremely ball focused. Like, the gauntlet was fun, but I don't care to win a tournament because I drafted the greatest movie franchises. Coming from someone who likes movies, or drafting the greatest fast food restaurants. I want the tournament to be all about who knows the most ball. That's what the first 2 tournaments were about. Yes, it got like redundant doing grids over and over and over and again. I do think the switch up of games is needed, but to me, I would love for the next trivia tournament, and I don't think it's going to go this way, but that's okay. I'm still going to voice my opinion. I would love to be just who knows the most NFL. Granted, at the same time, I don't want to host a trivia tournament. Like, I want to play, so I have an open mind when it's sexy putting on the whole thing. Like, he's doing all the work, and he's giving me the chance to at least show some ball knowledge. So I'll take what I could get.
And I'm thinking one of 2 routes. Either one, we'll have the normal main tournament with a lot of the same people that we've had, and then one that will be done before that one of only Steens. I haven't even brought this up with the guys, so this is just something I've been thinking. Only Steens, and then potentially one person who was in that tournament gets brought to be a part of the main tournament. I think it'd be cool to see just 12 Steens battling it out. Maybe that's not something we do, and instead we kind of have like a B tournament, and then like whoever wins it can move on to the A tournament. But I definitely want to have multiple tournaments next year. Probably one in like March area, and then another one in June.
What is a take I was very wrong about? I would say a take I've been very wrong about was the Jaden Daniels take. This might sound crazy, but I really hated Jaden Daniels coming out of college. It sounds insane. He won Rookie of the Year. He was kind of that dude coming out, literally led his team to an NFC Championship year 1. But coming out of college, I thought his processing was very slow. I didn't think he got to his first read very fast. Very similar to akin of what I didn't like about Caleb Williams, was kind of the same fact of what I didn't like about Jaden Daniels. And then Cliff Kingsbury came in and was like, you know what, fuck you. We're going to actually change everything up and go to a heavy RPO scheme. And that made him really thrive, where he wasn't sitting and kind of being a duck in the pocket and holding onto the ball for so long and then scrambling and taking a big hit like he always does. He became more of a quick, you have 1 read, 2 read out, 1 read, 2 read out, 1 read, 2 read out. And it made his life so much easier compared to where it was at LSU, that he really elevated his game in that sort of sense. We're going to see this year. Can David Blau do the same thing? Can it be the same thing? Because last year we had an injury year that we kind of anticipated from all of his college hits. I mean, we saw the tape, and you can't really anticipate injuries, but when a player doesn't like to slide at the quarterback position, when he's a literal stick, it's not that hard to predict. But obviously, we'll see this year. Can he put it together? I still think I was wrong about the take. I'm saying I think Jaden's better than I came out and I thought he was. I didn't think he was the number 2 QB to take off the board there. I got proven wrong in year 1. But we'll see about year 3. I mean, year 2 was obviously a dud, but that was because of injury. So we'll see how the take ages over time. But for the most part, I think that was probably one of the most wrong takes I've been, because I was so vocal about it, how I do not like Jaden Daniels. I had a day 2 grade on Jaden Daniels. Obviously, I'm not a professional, I wouldn't say, but I definitely like analyzing and I like having fun with it. But for the most part, again, I think Jaden Daniels is probably the one I was the most wrong on in recent memory.
Last year, we were asked to pick a team that you could sneakily see end up with the first overall pick. Like, not an obvious Browns, Jets, Raiders. Like, team expected to be all right, could sneakily crumble. And I said the Seahawks. And then they went on to win the Super Bowl. And I want to say the year before that, we made a video and got asked me the inverse. Who's a team that's not the Chiefs and you say they're going to be good? Who's a team that's like expected to be mid and you think they're going to be all right? You think they're going to make the playoffs? I said the Titans. And then they ended up with the first overall pick. So I was wrong on 2 very far opposite spectrums for those 2 questions. Those are 2 real recent ones. I've been real wrong before. I think back in Mo's old days, when I made content in college and I had long hair, I might have cut my hair at this point, but I was in the dorm room and I was making YouTube videos on my own YouTube channel before BDGE. I went through the Bengals record prediction for 2021, and I think I predicted like 4-13, 5-12, and they ended up going on a Super Bowl run. Not that, again, many people were predicting Bengals Super Bowl runs in 2021. Everyone expected them to be bad, but definitely was a part of the sheep take there.
I also had a take that was really bad. That was, I had Devon Achane over Jahmyr Gibbs as like a dynasty asset for a long time. If I liked Achane to be a better running back in the long term than Jahmyr Gibbs did, after their draft spots were kind of settled. After Achane went to the Dolphins and Gibbs went to the Lions, I thought it was going to be Achane, and instead Gibbs ended up being phenomenal. So maybe that take was probably as bad, but Achane's so good that I don't want to say that's like a horrible take, because I feel like Achane's like a top 5 back in fantasy, and Gibbs is as well. That's not as bad as me saying Jaden Daniels had a day 2 grade.
Last question. Where did you guys grow up? This had 0 thumbs up, but I'll just answer for myself. You said, and was it more of a suburb or hood area?
I grew up in the hood. I've been living in the hood my whole life.
I grew up in New Jersey in Bergen County, actually a town very, very close to Joe. I was born originally in Brooklyn, Coney Island, only lived there for a couple of years. That's where my family's from originally. Like, you know, my mom, my dad, my grandparents lived there their whole lives. We moved out to Jersey when I was young. My family still lived in Coney Island, so I would obviously go back there and spend a lot of time there, but grew up in Bergen County. Coney Island's way more of a hood area, but didn't grow up there, so it's very suburban where I grew up. I don't think any of the guys grew up in a hood area. Maybe Gut. Actually, I don't know what area of Philly Gut actually grew up in, but if I had to guess, he's definitely the most like hood area grown up person. But yeah, it was Brooklyn, Jersey, and then I've been back in New York now for like a decade or so, I think. Maybe, I don't know, give or take.
That's pretty much about it. If you enjoy this style of video and you want to see more vlogs like this, whatnot, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe. I'll sort of fun shit down below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.